Hey you! Nice to meet you. I'm Antoine Nouvel, and I'm the recent Nobel Prize winner in Odoo implementations.
Liar!
Okay, that was a lie, but it was the only one you will get today. So, welcome to this partner onboarding talk. I'm Antoine Nouvel, and I'm a partner service manager. Today we are going to discover what is inside that specific course about the onboarding. So first we'll start with why we created the course, and then we will have a look at the course content. You will also discover how you can join this offer and what is coming next in terms of improvement to the course and the next courses that we are going to publish on the e-learning platform. Finally, as usual, we will end up with a Q&A. All right, first point that is very, very important to us is that the partners needed help. We realized that since every time we had a call with the partners, they were telling us, okay, but once I become a partner, how do I get started? How do I train my new resources on Odoo when I acquire new resources over time? And we were a bit stuck because there were a few videos existing already, as you know, made by Amy, available online, mainly about an introductory level to functional things like a few modules like the website, the sales, the e-commerce, rental, all of that, you name it. But it was sometimes not sufficient for partners to get onboarded properly, like there was nothing about the methodology or nothing about a few technical aspects. So we wanted to cover that, and we wanted that this would be a package like a nice onboarding for the partners when they start their journey with Odoo. The second reason is that we know that it works. We have several consultants at the moment that are following it as I'm speaking, simply because it is our basic onboarding that we give to all the new resources coming at Odoo. It may not seem super important or super staggering, but for us it means that we have still something like 30 different employees that join the course every month. So if you put that on a yearly basis, it means that we have more than 300 new employees that are following that course. So it has been proven in a way. We have been giving that for 2 years now. And we know that from week 3 to week 4, employees can already start being onboarded on some project while they are following the onboarding. So they are being coached by someone at Odoo, by a trainer. They follow the onboarding that you will be following. And at the same time, they already have a beginning, a starting of a new project or working on support tickets or different activities at Odoo that are already profitable. So it is important to understand that all those 30 employees will take their first baby steps on this specific course. And when I'm talking about 30 employees, I'm here just focusing on the ones that will be what we call BAs, so business analysts that will evolve later as project manager or project leader as we call them. We also have a common trunk, so part of this training is also given to the salespeople and to the people working in the R&D department. So what is the mission statement that we have at the moment? What we want to do through this course is to be sure that all of our partners follow the same kind of training that we follow and that we work more or less 80% the same way. You know that at the moment we have projects, you have projects. Some of those projects are a bit different. On your side, you are working sometimes heavily on the accounting legislation in your country. Some of you are really experts in implementing website and e-commerces. Some others specialize in some industries or some public entities, for example. We have something like more than 2,000 partners at the moment. Everyone has its own specifics. But what we know is that 80% of the job is finally the same.
Nice. But what if we get to the point now, Antoine?
I was getting there. So, the content itself. Let's talk about the applications, for example. If we have this training that is being followed by your staff, they will discover the following set of applications. There's a huge highlight on everything that is the commercial flow, as we name it. You cover the CRM, then the sales, then the invoicing, and you finish with the accounting. But we also have everything related to project management. We have everything on the MRP side with inventory, with the purchases as well. There's a huge topic about the HRM. And finally, you will also discover everything that is new and that is cool with the website applications. All right, that is in terms of applications. Most of it is already covered and given in terms of videos by Amy.
Oh yeah, and talking about Amy, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I nearly thought it was Amy, by the way. All right. Applications, we said, no methodology, that's also very important. I was covering the fact that the applications are the first layer. There's a second layer that is also covered here regarding the methodology, where we are going to discuss lots of things that are very, very interesting. So, you will discover, for example, how we create a progress report. The progress report is a specific tool that we use with our own clients. When we put something in production, when we have a new phase, we like to show them what we've been doing, what is the adoption at the moment, what is remaining to do in the project compared to what has been sold. So we have different documents like that on the progress report. We have a set of documents allowing you to better challenge your customer. So sometimes it's better to say no, as we know all. We explain how to organize the go live as well. And there's also something that is very, very important is about, here you can see the ROI analysis, so the return on investment, where we explain how that tool can be used to turn a prospect into a client. If that tool is not familiar to you, in itself, it could be just a reason to follow this training. To give you an idea, when we use that tool with clients, at the moment we have around something like 80% of the clients that after the ROI analysis will follow up with a project. So this is a killer feature for us in the methodology that we propose. This is a few of the items that we will cover, but of course there's many more. Finally, maybe the last layer that you will cover during the onboarding is the following. We are going to discuss together technical things and advanced functional things together. In that package, I will, for example, talk about the data import in easy mode, a few things like the contact and the products, but also advanced mode, like how do we import an inventory on different stock locations? How do we create the opening entries in a multi-company environment? How do you use after that for the technical knowledge? How do you use Studio in an advanced mode? How do you translate stuff in Odoo? How do you load those files? Everything like that will be covered. It's important to understand that in those advanced things, we are also including some use cases where you will be asked to link together the different applications that you have been using in step one, so that you show that you understand that Odoo is not about a specific set of applications, but that they work together and that they communicate together. Okay, so that's it in terms of what you will be covering. Let's talk a bit about the workload now. That is super, super important because we realize that sometimes when partners have new resources, and here I'm talking about existing partners that hire new resources or new partner where we consider themselves as being new resources de facto. People will start by having the first week with a very, very high workload. We think that around 90% of their time should be dedicated on Odoo for the week 1 and week 2, which is quite video intensive, but with courses with your Odoo trainer as well. Slowly but steadily, the workload will diminish up to something like 30% in week 5, 6, and 7, while our workload, the workload of the onboarder, will grow slightly to reach also something like 20-25% of the time. This is important because it means that from week 3, 4, you can already have your staff working on several projects on your side. That's what we do internally. Our staff, after week 2 and 3, they are going to follow someone and already participate in tasks for an existing customer. At that moment, they are still being coached, but they already work for clients and for customers. Okay. Another thing that I need to add on this one is that sometimes partners ask us, is it possible that we have different people following the same course? Yes. Of course, if you start having 2 new resources that start at the same moment in time, you can bring both of them to the meetings. We don't mind. Maybe we'll put a limit at 5 or 6 different people at the same time, just for the sake of having the right communication on a Google Hangout or any other platform. But on your side, you don't need to have just one person following the onboarding. If you bring us 4, we will teach the 4 of them at the same time. Talking about the agenda and the workload, we are going also to send you an agenda that we agree on before the training. It's important to understand that when you start your journey and you start to be onboarded with Odoo, we are going to send you an agenda that is what we think is going to be covered during the next 7 weeks. You can see here we have an example about week 1 and week 2, but of course you have to imagine that it is far bigger than this because we have 7 weeks. We send you this, there are all the links inside that spreadsheet, and we are going to cover the different places where maybe you will be off for a specific week, or maybe you are going to have a public holiday, and we will arrange that. We will have an agenda that is already prepared, and if there are a few surprises like someone getting sick, that's okay, we arrange it, we postpone a meeting, there's no issue with that, we did it already. Finally, another important point is that we try to keep at all time the same onboarder, so that there is a relationship that is being established between us and you, and that there's a proper follow-up being done over the course of those 7 weeks. Also, all the lessons that you will have, all the course items will be divided in 4 different subtopics. First, we are going to explain you in every item why did we pick this item, why did we write such a documentation for you. For us, it's very important that you understand the reasons why we created this course item. In point 2 and 3, every time we are going to explain how to perform the exercises and what is the documentation that is available. Finally, in point 4, we are going to ask you to check if the output of the session matches your expectations and if you can remember a few items of the session. Every session will be between 30 minutes and 1.5 hours usually. Talking about the offer now. What we propose to our partner network is to take a success pack. The success pack, usually we imagine, but we also already tested it on a few partners. We imagine that the course as it is at the moment takes roughly 35 hours in total. So from week 1 to week 7, we spend 35 hours together. On your side, it's more like around 120 hours for your staff to follow the world training. On our side, of course, we are going to only count the time that we spend together. If you wish to follow the training, I would say that you should ask your account manager that will provide you with the explanation about how to purchase a success pack. And if you already have a success pack at the moment, you can use it and ask us to create the agenda together so that we cover all the points in the training. On top of the existing offer with the different success packs available, you know that with this offer you will get as well an Odoo certification pass so that you can take the exam any time you want on V14, 13, 15. You can postpone the use of this pass, there's no issue. For us, what matters is that you get a pass that you can use later during those 7 weeks or after, and for any type of resource, maybe not even the one that spent the onboarding with us. Finally, of course, as usual, we send also a scale-up game that you can play with and is also part of the training. So, some partners ask us sometimes, is it possible to see each other? Can we work together on the same place? And I would say, yeah, be our guest.
I'll be your guest.
Perfect, you'll be our guest. You could be our guest too. So we have different places in the world. You know that we have Dubai, we have Hong Kong, we have the US, different offices, we have Belgium. So if you wish to reach one of those places and have the meeting on site, we would advise you to come for week 3 and week 4, which are, let's say, the week after the videos, but the ones that are packed enough so that we can complete 2 weeks together in just 1 week, but at least we would be able to see each other and discuss, and you would be surrounded by technical and salespeople as well, on top of the onboarders that you will have that will tell you how to complete the course. So that's really important. If you want, you can be our guest. So what is coming next? So that is very important as well, because this course is not going to be super fixed. We plan to improve it over time. And one of the areas where we think we can improve it is simply by asking your feedback. So after each training with a partner, we are going to receive some feedback. And the courses items that people don't like, we are going to get rid of it. While the courses item that people like, we are going to give a bit more, or to, I would say, dive a bit further in the course content. It could be that we are going also to add a few course items. We already are, by the way, in the Want to Go Further last week that we already created. So if you have a look at the course content online, which is available to everyone at the moment, I mean, you can see the topics and all the list of items that we are going to cover. You will see that at the very bottom, we have another one that is after week 7, that is about all the points that you could discover by yourself. You could request a meeting with one of the onboarders as well, if you want to cover it. But at the moment, as we wanted to keep it around 35 hours of training, we decided to push those ones into Want to Go Further section. Finally, and that's one of the main reasons for taking the course, is that once you follow the course at some point, you will receive some extra information about how we train our own resources to give the course. So what I mean with that is that as a partner, maybe you would like to have a few people following the course given by Odoo, but that later you have someone that is trained in your team to be giving the course to the next people that will join your team. And that we will be able to provide you with the documentation to do so. We are at the moment in the process of doing that with our teams. You will receive that documentation later once we get there. At the moment, it's all in the heads of different people, but we are writing that in different tasks so that we can send it to you and you can train your own resources. The only condition that we put there is that you follow at least once the course together in your as a partner. All right, last point that is important as well here is that this course is about the onboarding as a project leader, but we want to make it more later and allow you not only to have a onboarding about different aspects of Odoo, but we want to make you pros in also I would say onboarding your resources on the mid-market and corporate accounts that you may have in your team. That is not ready yet. I think it will take between 3 to 6 months before we have a good course to put online, but definitely some MMC methodology will reach also the onboarding platform that we prepared. Finally, I cannot emphasize enough on some of the highlights that are covered in the course. One of the items is about the certification training. You need to know that this one will help your staff, if not getting the certification, getting prepared to pass the exam. We hear a lot of partners that are stressed, that don't know exactly how it is going to happen. So there is one item there, week 7, where we cover exactly what's going to happen during the exam. We have a few test questions just to quiz your knowledge, to test if you have a good level enough, if it's the right time for you to take the exam. That is super important to us because it will allow you to feel more comfortable when taking the certification exam. Globally speaking, it's also important to understand that that whole course is about working together. It's about how you as a partner can collaborate with us and how we can collaborate with you. So it's more than just going for the onboarding. It's also starting to work together on different projects and onboard you on your first project if needed. You will discover not only the aspect that I mentioned, but the whole Odoo ecosystem. So if we talk about the hosting platforms, we talk about the third-party apps, all of that, this will be covered. One of the items that is really important too is that it's a nice preparation for the smart classes. You may know that before the Odoo experience went live, like today, we used to organize 2 days event on site where people were discovering the accounting, the inventory, or some other applications of Odoo deep during 2 days. Well, that format doesn't exist anymore because of the COVID, but we prepared the same kind of content and we put it in videos that will be available online. At the moment, the accounting one is already available and you can already join. The thing that I would recommend is that before you dive into those smart classes, you follow this course because it will be what you need in order to understand the smart classes that come after. Last thing that is important too is that the content will be always up to date with the latest version. So when you start, it will be on V15 that you will have the meetings with our staff. Later it will be V16 next year, and we are always going to have the latest version, which is the version that is available at the moment of the training. All right. If you're not yet a partner, as this talk is dedicated to all the partners, but you are interested and you want to follow the onboarding, please go on odoo.com and click on the link Become a Partner. You will then be called by one of the guys in the PR team, so the partnership recruitment, and they will ask you a few questions and they will guide you through the process of becoming a partner. Then you will be able to follow the onboarding session. All right, if you already have some feedback, please take a moment to stay with me, ask a few questions. Well, I would say shoot. We can discuss. We have a few minutes now, so that will be the right time to ask. Thanks a lot.
Hello everyone, thank you for being connected for this Q&A live. Hello Antoine.
Hi, Damien.
So we have a couple of questions. The first couple ones are a bit out of context, but since we have time, in my company we use different tools that Odoo can replace. Can we migrate data easily?
Yeah, you can. Not with SQL though. That's not what we recommend. I think the part of the answer was already given on the chat by someone from Odoo. But it's correct. Yes, you can import things from an outside software to Odoo. Usually, what we use is more like CSV files or Excel files. So we call that flat files. You export from a system, you put it in a CSV file. Eventually, you rework the file. You change a bit the relationship between the different objects or things that you want to import, and then you send it to Odoo through the interface. And then it gets imported to Odoo. We can script that if we have large volume of information. That can be done. And it's funny because in a way that question is not really related to the topic of today, but we have in the training, in the course that we offer to the partners, we have a place where we explain, well, two different course topics where we say, we explain with exercises how to import data in Odoo. One that is like just an introduction, another one that is a bit more important where we explain how to import, we'd say, bank statements, inventories, opening balances on Odoo, which is a bit different than just product and contacts, but that we have. So there's a link. There is a link.
Indeed. Import is always a big part of an implementation.
Yes. You have it like 90% of the time. So yeah.
We have another question from Nicolas. He says that he uses Microsoft environment. He's asking if it's not redundant to use Odoo and Microsoft at the same time.
It's weird to answer that question because Microsoft environment can mean different things. Like I'm used to work with Microsoft tools like, I don't know, Excel, Doc, Word, Outlook, maybe because in the MS Office you have Outlook. So if we talk about Word and Excel, you have a few links like with Excel, you could have those files that you want to import later, but it's not really like a constant link with Odoo that you have. It's more like you use those tools just to get to import information into Odoo. So that's where I'm struggling to see the point with the presentation. But if we talk about Outlook, for example, there is a link between Odoo and Outlook, and you have a connector that exists. I know also that there are extra connectors with Office 365 that exist on the apps platform.
The App Store, yeah.
Yes, it's not standard Odoo, but it exists on apps.odoo.com so that you can check what it proposes and what it does. So that's also a link with the MS tools that Michel was
Indeed, the App Store can always give good answer. Yes. Let's jump back on the main topic. We have a question about the languages of the project leader onboarding. Is it always given in English, or can we adapt it to maybe French, Dutch?
Yeah, different ways to answer the question, because the content that you will see on the platform, like the videos of Amy, the use cases being written in doc files, the videos that you will see that are made by the consultants that are available on the e-learning platform of Odoo, everything, that content will be in English, but then you can have an onboarder that is maybe a French speaker, a Dutch speaker, Spanish speaker, Portuguese. Well, we cover tons of languages. Here I'm talking about Europe because the course was made in Europe, but it is also used in Dubai, in Hong Kong. So I guess that they have their own local languages. Pretty sure that in Dubai they can offer it in Arabic. So in that way, we have ways of accommodating the partner, having the sessions with them in their own language, but the content, the support, it's always in English. There's a discussion like every time on the documentation. If you go on odoo.com/documentation, everything is also in English. That's the main language in the IT world. So we don't intend to translate that because it's already a huge work in terms of writing or creating the video, creating the content. So if you need on top of that to translate every time,
it becomes a lot of work.
You have to choose your battles. We prefer to have everything in English, and then from there improve the content in English, and have then the speakers having the local language.
Okay, we have a question about the consultant that are doing the onboarding. What's their average seniority in Odoo?
What we say is that when we want to put someone in contact with a partner now, we ask them to have at least 1 year of seniority, so that we are not having someone that is maybe, let's say, newer than the person that is going to be trained. We have people that have some kind of a seniority, and that's the limit that we put. If at some point it's an easy topic, that's okay, but we also bring some technical specialists. Like we have a few extra topics that require a bit more experience in our experience. Giving an example, the ROI analysis, that is the return on investment analysis, that is kind of a tool that we promote and that we brought forward and that we want to put in the hands of the partner. Usually that is, those analyses are performed by someone that is like more like 2 or 3 years old at Odoo, and that session is covered by someone that is a bit more senior again. You have the onboarding, it is given by always the same onboarder, but a few topics, technical ones, and that pre-sales topic in particular, is given, are given by more experienced people.
Okay, we have a question about the price. What's the course? What's the cost of the course?
You as an account manager, you can tell me.
Of course.
But it depends really of the different areas, because we also have a price list depending on, in Europe, Dubai, Hong Kong, and all of that. Just to be sure, I'm checking that with you at the moment because there have been a few changes.
Yeah, indeed.
So do you know?
It's around $2,000 in Africa, and then around €3,000 in Europe.
Okay.
€3,200 in Europe, I believe. But feel free to contact your account manager or the sales department directly at Odoo, and they will be able to answer that question based on where you are located.
Yeah.
We have time for one last question. So, hi, for Odoo partners, could you share a bit more details about the requirement on the technical level of the team?
Hope that for the training that we are talking about here, for the partner leader onboarding, that is more like for functional consultants, so no technical expertise is expected from the partner.
Mainly for new employees, I believe.
Mainly for new employees. Yeah. We cover a few technical things because we want functional consultants to already have a bit of knowledge, enough to discuss with technical teams, but it's not at all something that is dedicated for technical consultant. There we have already another course that exists, given more like by India,
technical
developer oriented, but that's not the topic of this course. All right, guys, if you have more questions, what we can do is that we are going to follow this through the link that we are going to send here on Jitsi, and we are going to continue this through an external Q&A.